The Retirement Halftime Show. Maintain your lead in retirement.
Welcome back. We're here with Alex, learning more about his book, ReJoyce in Your Retirement. And Alex, I want to talk to you about Chapter 3, identifying the income gaps. I know that's really important when people are thinking about retiring or when they first get into retirement. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. You know, what I like to do is try to get our clients to use their imagination, right? And I think it's also very important to understand the first 5 years of retirement. It's kind of like a Saturday, right? So we kind of plan that there's going to be more expenses those first several years of retirement. We know that going in, if you will. And we also try to plan maybe a little bit more than that as well, so there's some cushion. But one thing we also try to do is we try to paint the picture of a mountain. Right? In retirement, it's like Mount Everest, right? There's a lot of adrenaline climbing that mountain, a lot of energy getting to the very top. You're there, right? You stick the American flag in it. It's the dream. You kind of look out and there's some anxiety, right? There's a little bit of fear. And like Mount Everest, there's a lot of injuries, accidents, deaths on the way down. And we paint that picture in terms of there's two distinct phases of someone's financial life. The first phase is climbing that mountain, if you will, which is the accumulation phase. And then the second phase is the distribution phase. When we paint that picture, we want people to know, as we reference in the book, that, you know, on this hand, if you will, the left, that is what we call your income foundation, whether that's a pension if you've got one, whether that's Social Security, maybe you can times that or multiply that by 2. But then over here in this right hand, you've got your lifestyle. So if this over here is your income foundation being $4,000 a month, right? And this one over here is your lifestyle, which equals $6,000 a month. Well, we know right in the middle of that, there's a gap. And I think the hardest part, again, looking Mount Everest, is how do you fill that, right? Because climbing that mountain, you had really no pressure because you can rely on your employer-sponsored plan. You can rely on your own work efforts, if you will, to make you whole. And so now when you're coming down that mountain and you're in that distribution phase, the anxiety or fear is how do you fill it? And then the next step to that is how do you continuously fill it after you've gotten past some of those retirement checklists, if you will, that bucket list. How do you maintain your retirement as you mature in your retirement? How do you go through things like the taxation of retirement, the longevity of retirement, the sequence of return in retirement? Naturally, as people progress, they tend to become more conservative. That's even a bigger fear for us as advisors, is because we kind of lose sight of what it took to get them there. So we've got to continuously put that back together. So it's a great chapter. I can go on, for days. You being a CPA, Seville, and from the tax side of it, I'm sure you see that as well, right? The significance of filling that gap. It's a big issue. It
is, absolutely. And I think, like you said, I love your analogy of Mount Everest, but I also think that it's great thinking about those first few years as being a bit more of a challenge, because that's something we see with our clients all the time. As they're getting ready to enter retirement, or if they're newly into retirement, those first few years are transition years, and there's a lot to look out for. So having somebody there to help you and having a book like this to kind of help you guide the way is very important.
It is. It's nothing more than a guide, right? It's nothing more than kind of some direction, because as you said, there's a bit of insecurity. There's a bit of, there's questions, right? But I think that having somebody there to support you, having a backbone and someone there to coach you through these things, because as we always say, most people, they just simply don't know what they don't know, right? And without a good coach, right, retirement coach, it's hard to navigate these roads.
Absolutely.
So it's there.
Just like I don't think anybody would climb Mount Everest without a guide as well. So
right.
There you go.
I agree with that.
Well, again, great information, Alex. Thank you so much. If you would like to purchase the book, again, it's available on Amazon, and also you can call into the office, make an appointment with Alex, and you can go home with a signed copy yourself. We'll be back soon.
The Retirement Halftime Show. Maintain your lead in retirement.
This week's tax tip is all about HSAs, or healthcare savings accounts. HSAs are a great way to save money for your family's healthcare expenses. They're also a great way to put aside money for healthcare expenses you're going to incur in retirement. The most important thing to know when investing in an HSA is whether or not you're eligible. If you're in a high deductible healthcare plan, odds are you're eligible to invest in an HSA. You also need to be mindful of the year-to-year limits on HSAs that change, whether you're investing for your family as a whole or for yourself as an individual. If you're unsure whether or not you're able to invest in an HSA, look at your healthcare plan, and also inquire with your financial institution. That's this week's tax tip on HSAs.
The Retirement Halftime Show. Maintain your lead in retirement.
I'm Alexander Joyce, President and CEO of ReJoyce Financial. If you're in retirement or near retirement, with all life's changes, it never hurts to get a second opinion. Managing expectations is the foundation of a prosperous relationship. Our goal is simple. We want to get to know you. So pick up the phone and make an appointment for a complimentary visit. There is no cost, no obligation. We simply want to get to know you and see if we can add value to your life in retirement. We can discuss topics like income planning, sequence of return risk, taxes and estate planning, Social Security maximization, and much more. Let us help you develop strategies that can develop a successful retirement. If you want to know more about successful retirement strategies, then call now, schedule a visit, and let us help you rejoice in your retirement.